let's get it. That's Thanksgiving. Lots of stuff to talk about. Let's get to the title of the stream that I was peer pressured into doing. I was peer pressured by my podcast co-host to cover this story, which I plainly think is wrong. So I'm just going to read it. I'm going
to in this disgusting filth.
I'm going to shoot it straight on this one. This is not what Circle Jerk America is all about. This is not this is outside of our purview, and we're not experts on this kind of stuff. Although
I'm leaving the room, actually.
Well, yeah, Zach is going to go back to analyzing the footage. He's been overnight. He's been analyzing and breaking down all the footage. He's been trying to match faces, match skin tones. He's been doing it all. I'm going to read this story straight. Alleged sex tape of streamer Destiny Nick Fuentes surfaces online. And the tweet guy here says, I have watched this dozens of times, and I do think it is them.
Oh God, it's funny like, too. Yeah, no, go for it.
Yeah, no, I don't have an opinion on any of this. You go.
Yeah, no, I was also watching a video from some right-wing channel called Camelot 331. Have you heard of this? Have you heard of this guy?
No. Does he cover all those sex tapes or something?
I don't know what he usually covers. He definitely seemed to be right-wing, but he was talking about the story. I was listening to it on the car ride over, and he's like, and trust me, guys, I spent the last 50 hours combing through this footage. It's Destiny. It's Fuentes.
real degens have known this for a long time. I'll just say that.
I'm glad that someone else did the public service, so I didn't have to look through the videos. But Camelot 331 is saying that it's pretty much all but confirmed. So
now, but
did you find this surprising?
The chat here is saying it's not. That they're saying that it's someone else.
Well, that's what I get for trusting a right winger.
Yeah, I mean, it's all alleged. That's why I put alleged in the title of the stream too. You know, I now, you know, but let's say what if even if it were true, you know, I'm firmly against you know, any kind of revenge or anything like that. And I guess then people are saying, what if this were true, what would the politics of this be? Is this giving in to the fascist right? Am I not allowed to have sex with someone with different politics? I think that's the core question that I'm trying to cut at here.
Well, I think for one, part of the hypocrisy would be that Destiny's been going after people like Hasan for anti-Semitism to find out that he was literally sucking the cock of the world's most known, or at least America's most well-known Nazi. Be a little bit ironic, probably worth knowing.
But what if it was a really like toothy blowjob? Like you were kind of like, it was like you were getting one on him, you know? Because we don't know the politics of this.
Well, it could have been a public service, Gavin. And here's what
exactly.
We don't, you know what? And the other thing is that, you know, point of personal privilege here. You know, I've never been, you know, the kind of guy that would sleep with a Nazi, but Destiny seems like he might be down pretty bad. We don't know what kind of options he has, right? And you know, we have to talk about, do you have the right to you know, stoop as low as you possibly need to in order to take care of what all three of us would agree is a fundamental human activity.
Right. And to
it's
me,
fundamental.
The weird thing about this is because there's been all these Destiny leaks coming out. It's not just about the Fuentes thing for like a week or so. And I'm not really sure who's behind it. Some people seem to think Destiny himself is behind it. But I'm like, what is really the point of leaking 50 hours of your sex tapes, some of which apparently are just him jerking off? Like, unless he just wants the attention that comes from being in the news because of a sex tape. So that's fair. Obviously, he wouldn't be the first person to do that. But in that case, it's not even so much revenge porn, right? If he's the one that leaked it,
it's avenge porn. You're avenging for yourself. You're right. Avengers of leaking your own shit.
So it definitely is weird, but a lot of people do seem to think that Destiny leaked it. And Zach, if you want to share that video that I sent you earlier, we have Destiny acknowledging.
I like this angle, Gavin. I like this angle.
I think if you see this video from Destiny, you'll get what I'm throwing down.
And shouts out again to Camelot.
This guy reminds me a lot of that Doctor Who that you like to, not Doctor. What's his that?
Doctor Disrespect.
Doctor Disrespect.
I'm just now on Rumble. Doctor Disrespect now on Rumble.
A cursory glance, I get Doctor Disrespect vibes from this individual, but I don't want to put anything on him.
So here is Destiny's response, and the way his facial expressions and his body language is leads credence to the fact that maybe he was the one that leaked it, but there is no evidence behind that. But let's hear what he has to say.
obviously I'm not going to do a whole deep intro or whatever on all this. I will say that I think a friend of mine's account from that I talked to like 3 or 4 years ago ended up getting compromised, and you know, sometimes you just gotta roll with the memes. It is what it is. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? Okay. Sometimes it happens.
You see how he's like smirking and kind of laughing about it.
So that's the main thing. But he doesn't deny the Fuentes thing, which obviously was the main headline. He's just like, what do you want me to do? Sometimes things happen. And also it's like, if these were pretty recent videos, they were like the sex tape in question, it's not like it's from 10 years ago. So it kind of seems weird to just blame your friend's laptop that got compromised. Why would your sex tape?
It was Hunter Biden's laptop.
It was Hunter Biden.
Yeah, that's the final leak.
There we go, Griffin. You got
He
it.
connected the dots.
I'm gonna connect them.
He's
This
about
is
to get
this new wall. I'm gonna have the
indoctrinated.
strings on. The thing for me is like, so, but like, you know, is it like who was the top, who was the bottom? Because that changes the politics of it too. You know, I don't know. I think that there's a lot of questions to this.
Here's
Obviously,
what I think it really reveals, everyone, is that if it is Nick Fuentes, what's the important thing here is that it shows how flimsy the politics of bigotry are. We can see that every massive piece of projection is actually a sign of insecurity. The people who are like, oh, we need heteronormative American politics more than anything else, and the people who make a big deal out of it, and they can't accept the fact that anyone else would live differently than them, they just reject it full hard. They're just like, nope, sorry, can't have it. Has to be a man and a woman. Has to be my idea. Has to be nuclear family. Has to be only sex for reproduction. All the stuff that crazy, outdated shit that they believe. That's the kind of stuff that Nick Fuentes was constantly pushing, right? He was, oh, you know, like casual sex is gay. Like it's all gay, blah, blah, blah. And it was just a way for him in his insane insecurity to kind of grapple with the fact that he himself was gay. Now, we can both have empathy for that and also understand that he's a horrible, hateful, bigoted person, and that's the end of it, right? It's like, okay, this pretty much exposes.
Do you think
that
he's self-hating, though, or do you think he wants to hide it from his audience just because he's afraid of the backlash? Because it's not like Milo Yiannopoulos ever really paid any consequences for being the most flaming homosexual of all time. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's self-hating for sure. Mm-hmm. I think it has to be, right? And again, it's like,
I don't know. I mean, he seems pretty unabashed when it comes to everything else about his personality and saying things that are not popular. Like, it's not like it's not like he has shame in any other regard. So even if he did feel like this was something to be ashamed of, that's the only thing I run up against. I'm like, you're Nick Fuentes, bro. If you watch this guy's video, he's clearly not afraid to express his, feelings.
Yeah, I just think he uses it as a way of like putting some armor around himself, right? Like it almost like an extreme way of like self-deprecating him.
What if it's like a long game where he's like, well, once we do martial law and lock up all the women, then there'll just be dudes around, and then maybe it's a long game for him. I'm not sure. I just want to pat myself on the back because 2 episodes ago I said that the Destiny Molina Nick Fuentes clip had Challengers vibes, and I'm sorry, that's a half court shot that I took 2 episodes ago. So I'd like to pat myself on the back there. But ultimately, I think the title of the stream is evil. I think the thumbnail is evil. I think covering this story is wrong. But I did want to get a little bit to the substance, because outside of this, it is so funny how mad they all are that Hasan went on Pod Save America. Like, all of these like creeps and cretins who have been for like 3 months every single day waking up, drinking coffee, and then making up fake anti-Semitism shit about Hasan, and none of it working is the funniest thing I have seen on this website. And it all culminated with the Radlib sister podcast, our beautiful sister podcast, Pod Save America, having Hasan on to co-host, which upset these people because none of these freaks are getting invited on that show anytime soon. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they will.
No, yeah, that's so true. And the funny thing is that obviously Destiny wants to claim the like liberal label. People in the Destiny fan base want to consider themselves the true liberals, holding it down for the liberals. And what's a more liberal coded show than Pod Save America? It's like the ultimate liberal outlet. So for them to not only invite Hasan on there, but let him guest host an episode and make great points, just give him the full episode essentially to make his case. And I think everyone that watched that episode agreed. Not only did he do a really good job, but some people probably watched that episode and was like, this is the extremist anti-Semite guy that we've heard so much about. This, and that's what I've been saying. I'm like, Hasan's not that edgy. Hasan's not like, he's just kind of a standard lefty. There's nothing edgy about Hasan.
Yeah, and they all wanted to go after him for this Houthi thing, and it's like, well, now I'm sorry, Hasan gets to have sex with that Houthi boy. Like, if we're gonna even out the Fuentes thing here, Hasan gets to go to the Houthi Armada, and he gets to have a sailor day with the boys, and he gets to live stream it.
It's sponsored by the guy that shot Osama bin Laden. You know, he brings his own concubine. Harry Sisson's there. It's quite a spectacle.